Bible story Numbers, the journey through the wilderness. The choice of faith. Today, we will share the story of a great journey in the Bible. The Old Testament book of Numbers. The Hebrew word for Numbers is Bamidbar, meaning, in the wilderness. It is a dramatic story of the Israelites wandering through the wilderness for 40 years, following God's promise. Despite their disobedience and frustration, it also reveals God's unwavering love and faithfulness as He guides them through it all. What happened to the Israelites after the Exodus and on their journey to the Promised Land? Let's go into the wilderness with Moriah. Numbers, a 40-year journey of faith in the wilderness. 1. Year 2 of the Exodus, preparation for the Promised Land. Counting the people. The book of Numbers begins with the Israelites' journey from Mount Sinai to the Promised Land of Canaan. God commanded Moses to count the Israelites, especially all the men 20 years old and older who were fit to fight in battle. Numbers 1. This was the first census, or numbering. The first step toward the Promised Land. Count the people. God instructed Moses to accurately count each tribe, organize them into armies, and arrange the camp in an orderly manner. East, west, north, and south. The tribe of Levi was in charge of the tabernacle service and played a crucial role in protecting God's presence. All this order was a preparation for walking with the Holy God. Now, the Israelites, in organized formation, set out for the Promised Land. 2. Disobedience, judgment, and God's patience. However, the journey through the wilderness was a series of hardships and trials. The people began to complain and grumble at the slightest difficulty. And then a decisive event occurred. Trials in the wilderness and the people's complaints. Arriving at Kadesh Barnea, Israel sent out 12 spies to explore the Promised Land. Numbers 13:10 of the spies returned after 40 days with a negative report. The land indeed flows with milk and honey, but the people are giants, and the cities are fortified. We cannot overcome them. On the other hand, only Joshua and Caleb reported with faith, saying, God is with us, so we can overcome. 12 spies, but 10 report negatively. However, the people listened to the negative voices rather than the voices of faith, complained to God, and tried to stone Moses and Aaron. God was furious with their disobedience and unbelief. Because you have despised me, every one of you 20 years old and above, except your sons and daughters, will fall in this wilderness. Numbers 14. The price of unbelief. The beginning of the 40 years of wandering in the desert. Ultimately, the Israelites were unable to enter the Promised Land directly, and ended up wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. During these 40 years, numerous events unfolded. Korah's rebellion. Korah and his followers, who challenged the leadership of Moses and Aaron, faced God's judgment, and the earth split open and swallowed them up. Numbers 16. The Meribah spring incident. Even Moses, enraged by the people's repeated complaints, sinned by striking the rock with his staff, instead of speaking God's word, thus producing water. As a result, Moses was barred from entering the Promised Land. Numbers 20. The snake incident. When the people complained again, snakes appeared, causing many to die. Moses, following God's instructions, made a bronze snake and placed it on a pole. Anyone who looked at the bronze snake lived. This incident foreshadowed the crucifixion of Jesus. Numbers 21. Korah's rebellion, Moses' disobedience. The fiery serpent incident. God saves despite this. 3. The preparation of a new generation and entry into the Promised Land. Thus, 40 years of wilderness traveled, and the disobedient first generation perished in the wilderness, while a new generation prepared to enter the Promised Land. God again commanded Moses to count the people. Numbers 26. The numbers from this second census were similar to the first, but now a new generation had come to trust and obey God. A new generation preparing for the Promised Land. Moses then delegated leadership of the conquest of Canaan to Joshua, and the Israelites completed their final preparations on the east side of the Jordan. Through the prophecy of the prophet Balaam, God demonstrated His great sovereignty, transforming even the plans of foreign nations to curse Israel into blessings. Numbers 22-24. Israel was about to set foot on the Promised Land. The preparation of the eastern bank of the Jordan and Balaam's prophecy. God works all things together for good. Beloved, the book of Numbers is a story testifying to God's unwavering love and faithfulness, never giving up on his people, despite human weakness and disobedience, and leading them to the very end. The 40 years in the wilderness were not simply a geographical journey, but a process of forming a people of faith who trusted God completely. God's love that guides us unwaveringly even in disobedience, even if we stumble and feel discouraged on our journey through the wilderness of life. I hope we can move forward, trusting that God is with us, and will surely lead us to the place He has promised. His faithfulness is eternal. Next time, we will share the story of conquering the Promised Land. Through the words of Joshua, I sincerely pray that these words will bring great strength and wisdom to your lives. Thank you.